Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
All right, you're welcome along to Thursdays Off the Ball. Nathan with you until 10 o'clock this evening. It's been a busy day on Off the Ball on OTB Sports Radio. We've been on since 7 o'clock this morning with our Decade in a Day. We have been looking back hour by hour on the main sporting stories of the last 10 years. Every sport got an hour, except, of course, for golf, when we needed 2 hours to look back on.
That was frankly obscene. Who was making
the
that
last
call
decade?
Again?
I made that call. You know, we had Paul McGinley on, Peter Lowry. We had all the gang in studio, myself, Joe and Fionn. It was just a wonderful golf weekly. It's up right now on offtheball.com. We've had quite a day of it. Kieran Donaghy was on, looking back on the year in 10 years in Gaelic football. Tommy Walsh and Nicky English were in studio. You had Andy Lee, you had the big exclusive.
Yeah. Well, best of last. I know you looked after the scheduling, and I'm just after wrapping up Off the Ball there.
Yeah, that was a really good Off the Ball
Stellar.
live. I really enjoyed it.
Quick costume change there in the outbreak before.
You need it.
But,
we had Damien Delaney and Mark Lawrenson on, looking back in 10 years in the Premier League, and a little bit earlier, so many special guests, but really one stood out above all the others. We had Kevin Kilban. Has not been seen, sight nor sound, quite literally, in months.
He's hard at it, Nathan. He's hard at it training.
Training.
For dancing on the ice.
For dancing on the ice. That's exactly what he's doing.
Like 2 weeks' time, I've seen the trails running all across TV.
No, this coming Sunday.
Is it?
There's a Christmas special.
Lord.
When he makes his debut. Now, it's pre-recorded, so obviously if he fell, he can get up and do it all over again.
Or they leave it in for part of the
hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Is Kevin gonna be
he
the
doesn't. So I was making the point, like, he's tabloid fodder right now. It hasn't happened just yet, but he's going to be in Heat magazine or whatever the current version
of the week.
Heat magazine. Well, firstly, he's in serious shape.
I noticed that he's after.
He has lost a load of weight.
He's not pointing as much as he would have been recently.
No, he doesn't have time. He's got other focuses right now. Skating and learning to dance. So that's taking up all of his time. But the live show, this is something to look forward to. This is the main thing to look forward to in 2020. Kilban, live on the ice, January 5th. ITV, is it on Virgin Media?
I think it is.
Definitely on ITV, possibly on Virgin Media as well.
that is an Off the Ball road show written all over it. Just get it.
Oh my God.
Get a few listeners around, watch Kev on the ice.
Or just we go over to wherever they're filming this.
Let's take
Watford.
Dog and pony
step
show.
by step.
Watford.
Jesus.
Just outside Watford.
I was up for it if it was in like
Like,
London.
what are we thinking? Because I was on to him about going over, and like, you're kind of thinking anything past the third week, you're taking a risk.
It's not happening for him.
Well, he's really dedicated himself to it, though.
Yeah.
Has he not got
And he's very likable.
He's got natural.
How far does likability get you in these things?
Is he likable to the English public though?
See, I thought
he's certainly,
Have they seen his Twitter feed recently?
Ian Wright was really likable, and apparently he really
He
bungled things in the jungle.
Oh, really?
He had a bit of a head-to-head with Andrew Maxwell, which was his own doing.
So Ian Wright didn't go down well in the jungle?
Apparently not.
I didn't see any of it for once. I had no TV for the last month, so I didn't see any.
Didn't have any telly?
I'm a celebrity.
Really?
I had a telly, but just,
Is
you
that
know,
why you're looking
none
like
of the
the wild man
actual,
of Borneo?
none of the none of the channels. I'm just going with this until, you know, some sort of midlife crisis.
I've got grey coming in mine now.
Sorry, what?
Beard, sorry.
Oh, it's in your beard. Yeah, I have several grey hairs. I notice now every morning. It's depressing.
It is, isn't it?
It's a great chat of a Thursday night.
Ronan's 15, see, there's
It's all coming your way, Ronan. Anyways, it's been our decade in a day, and tonight is the grand finale. It's been going on for the last month. The entire nation's been talking about it.
gripped.
Absolutely gripped. And the way that we all agreed as to what the criteria was for this, I think really helped the last month.
The clarity from the beginning, I believe,
Was key to the
it
success
propelled us into the mainstream.
of Ireland's most memorable sporting moment of the decade. It is a battle of the sexes. It is a battle of the nation's sweethearts. It is Bray's Golden Girl versus Clara's Claret Jug winner. It is Katie Taylor against Shane Lowry. You've been voting all day, but before we announce the winner, we've sent the presentable face of Off the Ball, Colin Buhig, back out onto the streets, armed with a microphone one more time.
The end of the decade is upon us, so the only question remaining is, what is Ireland's most memorable sporting moment of the 2010s? Or more importantly, are Ireland actually any good at sport at all? Is Ireland a great sporting nation?
Of course it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, they're good at rugby.
Just rugby.
Just rugby.
Good at some sports, bad at others.
Boxing. Yeah.
Golf.
Yeah.
Well, they're really good at Gaelic football and hurling, so yeah.
We have to be good at that. It's our own sport.
Yeah, but they're still really good at it.
I mean, we're not that great at anything but maybe rugby.
Ireland, the great sporting nation.
The two greatest sports in the world, hurling and Gaelic football.
Definitely, yeah.
Why?
Boxing. Yeah, soccer.
We're great at soccer.
I'm a big soccer fan, yeah, we do our best. I think our good days will be coming back soon again, yeah.
You think Republic of Ireland are good at soccer?
Yeah, we'll qualify for the Euros, 100%. Yeah.
Wow.
You tell me.
Maybe rugby?
Very good.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why are we good at sport? What makes us good?
Look at me, I'm an athletic man, like, yeah?
You?
Yeah.
So you're good at sport?
I'm brilliant.
You are.
Are you just saying that to make me happy, or do you actually... Okay. Your favourite Irish sporting moment of the last decade?
Shane Long's goal against Germany.
Winning the Grand Slam. Limerick winning the All-Ireland.
Grand Slam?
Cork winning the All-Ireland 2010.
100% Robbie Brady against Italy, yeah.
Johnny Sexton's drop goal against France.
Grand Slam in Tweed.
Grand Slam, surely.
Shane Lowry winning the Open.
Shane Lowry winning the Open.
Anything Katie Taylor's done.
Limerick winning the All-Ireland.
Yeah, that's the second one today we got. Brilliant.
So there you have it. I did say the very first night the people of Grafton Street will speak, and they have spoken. They talked to Colin Buhig. So we've been talking about this for the last month. Out on night one went Meath, Louth, 2010. There were some shocks along the way. Stephen Cluxton,
Well,
which I thought maybe a contender to win.
Same. And Damien Delaney thought otherwise.
Well, I was collecting a package from a courier on Tuesday, and as I was walking out...
Why are you being so sus about that?
As I was walking, just for obvious reasons.
You sound like a member of the Provisional IRA.
As I was walking out...
There's Kilban calling to you as well.
The guy behind the counter started shouting, saying, "Tell that Delaney he's only up..." I was sorry, what? "Tell that Delaney he's only up..." I was like,
Something wrong with your microphone there,
Which
Nathan.
Delaney? He's like, "Damien Delaney. He got rid of Stephen Cluxton."
Which Delaney?
Can't believe it. I was like, well, you had all of Dublin, and you couldn't manage to vote Stephen Cluxton even through to the quarter-finals. Like, that is the biggest shock. I thought Cluxton might win the whole thing.
Same, absolutely. And Dublin probably feel misrepresented here.
Yet again, it'll be, typical off the ball, anti-Dublin bias,
Yeah.
and you couldn't even vote Cluxton's free or Dean Rock's free.
It's complacency.
Why can't Dublin footballers do something from open play?
Oh.
You know? Own goals, frees. This is not how we want to finish the decade talking about the
Complacency.
Dubs
It's
like
complacency.
this. Complacency, typical. So do you think this is
just
a
shows
precursor for what's coming next year?
Took the words out of my mouth, Nathan. That's
All
it.
right. The votes are in. They have been counted.
This is a big moment.
And we've got ourselves a winner. The winner of Ireland's most memorable sporting moment of the last decade is this guy.
Huge crowds here, and they are cheering for Shane Lowry, but
going to try to utilize the slope from the right. Just left of the hole. Wow. On the left side to me.
how about this guy? Shane Lowry has played the par fours this week in 9 under par. That is
Close, really. Little right. Okay.
and here he comes.
They pile in behind Lowry here. Lowry comes underneath and emerges.
And Ireland's Shane Lowry is an Open champion at Royal Portrush.
Shane Lowry,
No. Count again.
Open Championship.
Count again.
58% to 42% has beaten off the challenge of Katie Taylor's gold medal win in 2012. There we have on screen, if you're watching online, on offtheball.com or our social channels, the full bracket. The two Irish football moments, Shane Long and Robbie Brady beaten semi-finalists. Johnny Sexton, the O'Donovans, Tipperary and Galway hurlers beaten in the quarter-finals, and it's all come down to Shane Lowry. What do you make of that? Congratulations, Shane Lowry.
If the 2016 US presidential election, the Brexit vote, and the most recent United Kingdom parliamentary election, and indeed today prove anything, is that democracy is but a sham, and people need to be told.
I'm sorry. Shane Lowry is a fully deserving winner of that.
He is a fully deserving winner of the 2019 Open Championship, and it was a fantastic weekend for all involved. I'm not sure it
Just because you're a anti-golf snob means you can't appreciate. He beat...
How does that work?
The deepest field in golf, on his, like the pressure on home soil, to go and do that and win by 6 shots.
He had it won by the Friday.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't. He went out on the Saturday and produced arguably the greatest round of golf any Irish player has ever produced in a major championship.
So it was in the bag then going into the Sunday.
How many times have you seen players blow leads on the final round of a major championship?
Which would have made him a choker.
But he didn't. He won. That's the point.
Which brings him back
So
to
if Katie
level
Taylor
par.
had lost in 2012, she would have been the choker.
Yeah.
So what was your moment of the decade?
I would have given it to Katie.
Why?
I think that gripped the nation more than Shane Lowry's Open win.
Well, I think you'll clearly find that 58-42 suggests not.
But people who vote clearly, as laid out before you, are wrong.
Ronan, you're going to be upset by this.
You know my opinion on this, Nathan.
It's the boxing podcast against the golf podcast, and I think you'll find, Ronan, it's been a bad day for Off the Brawl. Golf Weekly.
We'll see about that in the crappy quiz, Nathan. But Katie Taylor, the most impactful Irish athlete of all time, in my opinion, basically single-handedly changed the face of an entire sport.
She's literally, there's pictures of her this evening on social media.
There would not be a sport, from a women's point of view, in the Olympic Games if it were not for Katie Taylor.
I absolutely agree that Katie Taylor's greatness is bigger than what she has done within the ring. And there will always be questions of how
the
we
focal
can
point
judge
of that is the Olympic win.
Yeah, and then the
of that.
But the gold medal element of
the question is the most memorable Irish sporting moment. And Shane Lowry walking down 18, thousands of people, ole, 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 all that. I think maybe for a lot of people stands out more than Katie.
Well, we were talking about it on Off the Brawl, available wherever you get your podcast, Nathan, but the cross-denominational sporting events where I wouldn't be necessarily a golf fan, but I found myself watching both Tiger and Shane Lowry this year. So in that sense, obviously it was one of these internationally even remarkable moments. But Katie Taylor, like, people, I know for a fact have never watched boxing before and haven't since that final. Like, people, the country came to a standstill for that. People watched her. It was like appointment viewing. Katie's going to be on at this time. I don't know. I just think
the country came to a standstill for Katie Taylor's final.
And for Shane Lowry.
No, it didn't.
Oh, it did.
No,
it
your
absolutely
world,
did.
Your Pringles sweatered 9-iron dangling world came to a standstill. But the entire country stopped for Katie Taylor's final bout. The call by Jimmy McGee is absolutely famous. Like, where's the famous call for Shane Lowry's final hole?
Right there on Sky Sports.
Exactly. Nobody cares.
I'm telling you.
How many Olympic gold medals do we win? Like,
how many Open Championships do we win?
Come on. It's a different.
How many?
Well, I don't know that off the top of my head, Nathan. But
exactly.
Olympic gold, like that is literally, it's a byword for sport, the Olympic Games.
Just accept that you're wrong.
Well, not in a positive way.
Well, let's not get into that. We know what
See, this is where it all breaks down. Suddenly we're like demeaning Katie's achievement.
And
No, can I just say
I
you
also
are?
feel like
You are.
You're the one who's talking down Shane Lowry.
I'm not talking it down. I'm just saying there's a more deserving winner.
No. I think I had a feeling straight. Like, just something about that whole day of Shane Lowry was a very Irish moment. But I was in a fortunate position. I was at both of them. And
Jesus Christ.
I still go back to, I felt Katie Taylor's first fight was a more memorable day.
Text
than
Damien
the
Delaney
actual
there and
final.
ask him which one.
Damien Delaney will go with Shane Lowry.
He's the real arbiter of this whole thing.
100%. Damien Delaney will go with Shane Lowry.
I feel like I'm demeaning Shane Lowry's achievement now. It's not. It's just relative to what I think is probably the most impactful Irish sporting moment of my lifetime. Has been like superseded by this, on the basis of recency bias, probably.
Oof.
Because it's so it really is not that long ago. If these were flipped, I feel that the result would be
years ago for
different.
Katie's now. It's like the very
I know.
other end of the decade.
Lads, given that the last four of the off-the-ball most memorable sporting moments, as voted for by the people, were 2 soccer, 1 golf and 1 boxing, can someone call Neil Francis and ask him again about rugby being the people's game? I'll be raging about that ridiculous comment for the next decade, says Dinny in Cork, a football man. I wouldn't rage about it. Just move on.
Yeah.
Nathan, if you think grey hair is bad, try being ginger. I long for grey hair. Why would someone text that in?
Because we were talking about grey hair in your beard earlier.
I understand that.
And generally around your head.
To drag us out of this mire, Ronan, you mentioned the big fat crappy quiz, not just of the year, but of the decade. We're going to play it for you later on from 9 o'clock. 3 teams going head to head. Myself and Shane Hannon against Andy Lee and Ronan against Joe Malloy and Phil Egan. Just to let you know what you're in for. Here's where the whole thing nearly came off the rails. The setup is this. Shane Hannon has the name of a sportsman in his head. I need to ask Shane, yes, no question. So it's basically 20 questions. And this is where every year I come into my own.
It's true.
Having kids and 20 questions put you a step above those who do not have kids. So yes or no to identify the sportsman in question. Here's how it went.
30 seconds starts in 3, now.
Is it a man?
Yes.
Is it a footballer?
Yes.
Do they play in the Premier League?
Yes.
Do they play for Liverpool?
No.
Is it a manager?
No.
Do they play for Manchester United?
No.
Do they play for Arsenal?
No.
Play for Tottenham?
No.
Are they Irish?
There's absolutely no chance. He was Irish.
It's not going to happen.
He was Irish. He was Irish. He played for the Irish underage teams. Of course he's Irish.
He played for the Irish senior team.
Of course he's Irish.
What's the problem?
Of course he's Irish.
He communicated a lot with that.
He's Irish.
It was Grealish or Jack. No score. No score.
How can we trust the opinion on the greatest sporting decade, poll when it comes from the mouth of a cheat?
Excuse me?
You're being thrown hand signals by young Hannon there, which people can't see if they're listening on the radio.
He went, but he didn't.
Yes or no?
It's yes or no. Isn't the word.
No.
And then he said...
It narrows it down.
No.
It narrows it down considerably. To two lads.
Well, it didn't cheat because we didn't get the point, which was ridiculous. But that's the sort of quality content that's coming away.
So just
after
because
9
you
o'clock.
didn't get the point means you didn't cheat.
Well, I didn't cheat. All I did was ask the questions. So...
And you
talk to my
gave
teammate.
an answer based on cheating by your teammate.
Talk to my teammate.
So if a goal is scored by... So the rest of the French team aren't cheats from 2009 because... Just because Thierry Henry handled the ball.
I don't even get what you're trying to say.
Guilty by association, is that what you're saying?
100%.
So you think William Gallas is a cheat?
Yes.
Well, that's a bit ridiculous.
How do we get back into this? This isn't...
Yeah, 10 years on.
This isn't of the decade at all.
Murphy's a fraud.
We'll be talking about Saipan in about 3 minutes' time.
Give me time.
Well done to Shane Lowry.
Jesus.
Winner. He's won a lot of things, but I think
Christ,
this
he's not in the line, is he?
This is right up there.
Congrats.
God, I really wish he had been. That would have been just a fantastic moment. Winner of our most memorable Irish sporting moment of the decade. Hard luck, Katie, but I'm sure she'll get over it.
I'm sure she'll be grand. She's got a big trophy cabinet.
Okay. And there's no trophy for it.
And if not, she'll poke the head off you.
All right. Is there sports news happening?
Yeah.
It does feel like Christmas is very much upon us.
No, it doesn't. There's none of
really,
sweets.
we've given up.
So you might have, but the IRFU say they have no interest in buying the FAI's shares in the Aviva Stadium. The Department of Sport met with IRFU officials today, with the FAI's crisis leaving them behind on their payments towards the ground. But the IRFU have shot down the notion of buying out the FAI's 42.5% stake, saying their funding is committed to the development of rugby. Bratislava has been confirmed as the venue for the Republic of Ireland's Euro 2020 playoff semi-final with Slovakia. The March 26th game will be played at the recently renovated National Stadium, which has a capacity of 22,500. FAI officials have planned talks with their Slovak counterparts about boosting their standard 5% allocation for a visiting side. It will be just north of 1,100.
Well, hopefully we get there.
Well, we're playing in Slovakia anyway.
Well, unless, of course, the association goes bust and we're no longer allowed to play international football.
Be grand.
Great city, Bratislava. Is that where the Ireland game was last time?
No. It was in
Zelina.
Which led to train journeys and people being given cans and lead shoulder height from trains, etc.
This is true.
Zelina was one of the best Ireland trips I was ever on because we got the bus from Bratislava to Zelina, which I think was a couple of hours away. And normally, obviously, the journalists stay in some cheap-ass hotel near the stadium and the players obviously stay in some 5-star hotel. But from what I can remember, they'd booked the team, Zelina's in the back arse beyond, so there's not many 5-star hotels. So they booked the team into this 5-star hotel. It was about an hour from the stadium. And we were staying in the Radisson, which overlooked the stadium. But Trapattoni kicked up a fuss. I was like, nah, I'm not staying in an hour away from the stadium. So I think they did a swap, and they put the journalists in the 5-star honeymoon resort for 3 nights, and they put the team overlooking the stadium. It was just the most magical time. It was a very forgettable match. Did Leon Best and Caleb Fullen, was that sort of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sean St. Ledger scored the Irish goal after 16 minutes. Yeah, had to look it up earlier on.
Yeah, it's not a very memorable game.
No, it wasn't. Not many Trapattoni era games were.
But Bratislava at least is very handy to get to. You can fly into Vienna. It's only 45 minutes down the road?
Yeah, they haven't been the chances of actually upping their... This is all going to be down to the Slovak FA, of course, but the chances of upping the allocation for tickets, should we actually be there, seems likely. I mean, they haven't been pulling in the punters either in Trnava or in that one game they've had.
It's a big game, though. This is a big game.
It is, but regardless, they've had other big games in, the most recent Group E.
The real fun is going to be when Ireland win, and we have to somehow find our way to Bosnia or to Belfast and get tickets.
5 days later.
5 days later.
That's insane, yeah. You figure Belfast might be slightly handier.
I'd say it should be easier.
Yeah, just ever so slightly.
Yeah.
It's less of a
You say that.
awkward conversation to work trying to get the extra couple of days off. It's, I'm just going into the Bosnia there to watch the match. I won't be saying that because I'll be here, probably.
Why are we using that accent?
I don't know. It's the 19th of December. I haven't got clues.
Go on.
Takumi Minamino says it's a dream come true to become a Liverpool player. Shut up. The Japanese international forward will officially become a Liverpool player on January the 1st after the Premier League leaders met Salzburg's €8.5 million release clause. The 24-year-old had already played and scored against Liverpool this season in the Champions League for his former club now, Salzburg. Rob Kearney has the chance to prove the doubters wrong tomorrow night following his omission from this week's Ireland get-together. He's been named at full-back for Leinster's Pro 14 derby with Ulster tomorrow night. Elsewhere, there's a debut for centre Tommy O'Brien, and hooker Sean Cronin makes his first appearance of the season. Ulster have made 14 changes from last weekend's win away to Harlequins. Matt Faddies is the only player retained, but he switches his position to outside centre. And Everton have confirmed that Duncan Ferguson will remain as caretaker manager for their Premier League clash at home to Arsenal on Saturday. The former striker had been in temporary charge of the Merseysiders for the past 3 matches. The club are close to appointing Carlo Ancelotti as their new boss after the Italian's legal team reached an agreement with his former club Napoli over the termination of his contract there. It's believed Ancelotti will be in attendance for the Arsenal game, as will, it seems, Mikel Arteta. Arsenal have been locked in talks with Manchester City over Arteta's release from the Etihad club. It's believed Arsenal will need to pay City £2 million to make Arteta their new manager.
Yeah, the talk was that Arteta had one of those emotional goodbyes to the backroom staff and players at Manchester City today. Will this be the first time this has ever happened? Two managers in the stands
at the same time.
Do they both go down to the dressing room at half time if it's 0-0? Or
weird dynamic for Arteta as well, considering he is probably more so an Everton legend than he would be an Arsenal one. So he's up there watching his new Arsenal team at his new home, at his old home as well, while his another manager sits across from him, also taking notes of what's going to be coming his way on Monday.
You supported a team, Nathan, and I know you're an impartial commentator. Which of these managers would you prefer to see coming in the door? As a fan rather than a player?
As a fan?
They're both in two different, very, very different places.
Well, Ancelotti's just such an interesting appointment from Everton's point of view in that they're talking he's going to be within the top 3 highest paid managers in the world, and that they've promised them insane amounts of money to go and invest over the next couple of years. But everything about Ancelotti suggests it's going to be an 18-month gig.
Yeah. But
Arsenal is such, reading today about that Aubameyang is desperate to get out, that half the squad seem to want to leave. Is Arteta that powerful a personality that he can suddenly bring them together, that they've been all watching Manchester City last weekend thinking, whoa, if we could just have one part of that coaching staff.
I don't think that's going to be his job. I think his job is to go along with the clear out that the hierarchy there at Arsenal are probably going to oversee, because there's a lot of players there that their attitudes just stink and they need shipping out for whatever cash you can get for them.
Just by dint of their ages, one suggests this is a quick fix, an immediate solution, whereas Arteta, it's almost, the implication is that because he's a young manager, they're going to give him time. Not necessarily the case, as we know. But Ancelotti, his MO has always been to make the great greater. You know what I mean? So the pieces are already there, just trying to facilitate them, get them in the right. But that's not the case at Everton at all. They're totally lopsided in that squad, and he's a lot of work in his hands. This feels like a total makeover almost.
Almost like they need to go and buy the superstars. Buy Ibrahimovic
buy
in January.
Midfield.
Yeah.
Bloody well buy him, because that's the one.
Who's going to go to Everton?
Andrea Gomez. I suppose that's a big loss. Andrea Gomez was sort of a super.
I loved watching Gomez last season, and I spent a lot of time at Goodison Park, and on his day, you thought, how is this guy not still at Barcelona?
Those days are too few and far between.
He's probably the guy that Ancelotti could get a tune out of. He's not going to do that with Fabian Delph.
Oof.
You know what I mean?
Cutting on Fabian Delph.
Sorry if you're listening.
An exciting enough back front four if they could get them all to click. Both of them are. I just sort of feel all these managerial conversations, it changes so quickly. Ancelotti, all the plans out the window. If Arsenal, if he has to sell half that squad, or they all want out, and then you're trying to buy players and rebuild again, I don't know. In a year's time, let's sit back and see where he is. I believe Shane Lowry was a sporting highlight, but the day of Taylor's fight, I was at a funeral removal which was delayed by 20 minutes to let mourners watch. Not many sporting events can claim that.
To let what watch?
Mourners.
He said moaners.
Mourners.
I mean, they probably might have every right to moan given the person's passing.
Yeah. All right.
Depending on the circumstances.
Mourners. It's just my accent.
Moaners.
Moaners.
Just admit you were wrong.
Now I'm insulting someone, which I definitely don't want to do. I think that's enough. I think that is enough. Shane Lowry, well done.
Congrats, Shane.
Yeah. Enjoy your win, Shane.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be talking to John Giles.
Off the Ball 2019 IMRO Radio Awards Sports Programme of the Year.
Salah takes the shot. Oh, Mo Salah with one of the goals of the season.
Who will see their dreams turn into reality? Whose names will be etched in history forever?
OffTheBall.com, best online publisher at the 2019 Spider Awards.
A big breaking story on OffTheBall.com for you this morning. We have the